everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm.
Konbanwa.
Jack Cepeda.
Tightrope dancing.
No. No.
Yeah. Tightrope dancing. Hi, you ready?
That was lovely, Jack.
Thank you.
And Colin Sparling.
Squawk! Happy Turkey Day, everybody. Hope you and yours are doing well.
That's a marked difference from tightrope dancing.
Well, it's tradition.
What is Piero?
I don't know.
What is that?
It was Piero.
Yeah, Piero.
What is that?
It's a
Piero.
French word, maybe.
It looked French as
For
hell.
what?
I want pierogies now.
Here's a guess. It is a ballerina move where you spin on your toes.
No, because that's pirouette.
Okay, then
It's
I've
stuck in
never.
my head now.
Piero is
Tightrope
a
dancing.
stock character of pantomime and commedia dell'arte, whose origins in the late 17th. It's a
Comedy
mime.
dell'arte.
It's a mime.
Oh, God.
It's a mime.
So
My least favorite thing.
That's
He's-
it's a pretty big stretch there.
So he's calling her a mime
Who
like-
knows?
Like a French clown.
On a
but like
tightrope.
one of the old, unfunny ones.
How do you dance on a tightrope?
Okay, too many questions.
Talent.
dressed beautifully. But yes,
Thanksgiving.
yes,
Turkey basters.
if you are
Turkey.
American, we'd like to wish you a happy American Thanksgiving, American Turkey Day, where you get to stuff your face full of food and no one will judge you for it. Not that really that happens much in America, I feel.
And we are thankful for you listening and enjoying. Maybe you guys are listening to us on an airplane. Maybe you're commuting to your dinners. And so thank you for having us in your ears.
Yes.
And if you're not, use this excuse to just eat. Just eat.
Anything
Actually,
you want.
Not
I
celebrating
hope you're
Thanksgiving,
listening.
Do it.
Here, I hope what they're doing. This is what I picture the listener doing. I want you to take this podcast, and I hope you're playing it at like 2x speed, and then you're just like sitting at the dinner table and fucking going hard on your turkey dinner, like you're Kobayashi, just going in on it, just
You think
scarfing it.
Colin, you think people are like ignoring their family during Thanksgiving and are listening to this podcast as they're eating at the dinner table? That's a dark reality right there.
Hold on, just
Tell us if you
just
did
to be
that.
safe
That's
though,
awesome.
if you are doing that, we love you and we're your family now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are your family.
Well, so some people unfortunately sit at the dinner table, and as soon as they sit down at the dinner table, their family are like, "Hey, politics," and they're like, "Well, I'm out."
Yep. That totally happens. That's a real thing.
Yep.
I mean, eat your feelings. That's the main thing.
Counter
Eat your
them with,
feelings.
hey, Terrace House.
Actually, you know what would be even better? After you finish your turkey dinner, sit next to a cozy, warm fire and just lay back in your recliner and let that turkey sleepiness take over. And you can just pass out listening to the sounds of our voices.
Ooh, I like that.
So here's the
As
trick.
we're screaming about this episode.
Here's the trick to combat sleepy turkey. Marinate it in Red Bull overnight.
Robert actually
No.
did this, you guys.
I've actually
Nice.
done this.
No.
I've gotten a meat injector and injected a turkey with cranberry Red Bull.
Oh my god. Was it good?
I'm upset.
Was it good?
No, it tasted like dry turkey because all the sugar evaporated.
Mm.
Yeah, it didn't
I'm
help.
upset.
Lessons learned. This sounds like something Ruka would have tried in the early days.
Hey, I
Oh,
experiment in the
Luca.
kitchen. I know what I'm doing in the kitchen at least.
One of my favorite things is somebody called a turkey baster. Where did I hear this from? Turkey
I gonna-
baster, a Canadian squirt gun.
Oh, I hate it.
Anyway,
Yes. So again, happy holidays to you and yours. If you
Yes.
are international and have either already celebrated Thanksgiving or don't celebrate it at all, take this day to be thankful. Because you know what? We don't need a day to tell us to be thankful. Every day you should be thankful for something. Life lessons.
Thankful. Thank you.
wow, deep.
Wisdom. But you know what we're thankful for? Maybe not this episode. This episode was a weird one, y'all. Oh,
listen,
man.
listen. I'm just gonna say it right off the top. Fuck this episode.
Whoa.
Yeah, during the pre-roll here, I got the sentiment that like we're not too high on this episode, and it's like, come on, like this is the finale of part 1 for international Netflix. Like we have to wait a long time to see what happens here. So give us something juicy to talk about for the coming weeks. Like give us a foothold. The thing about it is this comes out weekly elsewhere. They don't have to wait really any longer than 2 weeks.
Well, so every 4 weeks they take a break. So for
Okay.
after this episode, they probably had to wait like a week.
Okay. Yeah, it's like
Well,
I mean-
yeah.
I mean, guys, like as much as like maybe we didn't enjoy this. I'm sure there was a subset of fans that this was like the episode, y'all.
Most certainly not us, but somebody.
Well, I mean, there was a big development. We'll talk about it with Kenny-san.
Yeah, this is an episode for Risa Kenny shippers. I think.
Yes.
This is definitely that
Exist.
episode.
For some reason.
But let's kick things off from the start. We go to the panel and they open up their episode like after all their, like, oh, no script at all. Like this is, the Terrace House show, Six Strangers, etc. They say last week was a shocker. And my brain was like, they're finally going to talk about it. And they talk about Ruka's pasta.
No. Yeah. They took the tablecloth and just ripped it out from under everything that's set on the table.
Like, y'all, I would understand if, like, Ruka putting an egg into boiling water and then dumping it out, with the pasta water. If that was, like, the lone main event of last week, I would totally get, like, being like, wow, last week, a lot happened. But we also saw porn last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're just going to
glossed over.
Are trolling us at Terrace House. They are fucking trolling us.
How
did we really see it? Did we imagine that? Was that like a
was it in our heads?
Dude, listen, guys, there's no way that 4 people who all recall the same thing were just imagining something.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I mean,
is this just collective mass hallucination, like Daly said? Like what is going on?
To be fair, guys, we did all smoke those bowls of peyote before we recorded the live react, so that might have been it.
Yeah. Ayahuasca did us in.
Yeah.
I would have rather seen something else than Shohei's ass.
I don't know.
You want to see his dick?
I didn't want to, but damn.
You almost did.
Listen, Shohei is a shining beacon in this season right now.
Shohei's kind of one of the best things about this season. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it real odd that they're not mentioning it. And I think it just supports Jack's theory that maybe there are different cuts of that episode out there. But when we get into the episode proper, we're on the first floor with Kenny and Cowdy, and Kenny remarks that, oh, my broccoli's gone. And we seem to be out of eggs.
He thought it was funny too. It's like, oh, Ruka did it, and I missed it. He cooked, and I missed it.
Yeah, like I wanted to try it.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's funny. But then you have Cowdy kind of being like, hey, at least Ruku's starting to try. He's taking the trash out late at night since he doesn't get up early anyway. He's been washing his dishes, which, in my opinion, isn't praiseworthy, but.
Well,
it's a good start.
From what she said, it sounded like he was just taking care of like all the dishes, like the house's dishes. Like he has taken it upon himself to be the dishwasher or load the dishwasher, one or the other.
He's a night owl, so he's spending his time at night when everyone else is sleeping, helping out with chores. That's pretty cool.
Okay, it's good for him.
That is nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's showing signs. But it matters how long this lasts. That's what we have to see.
Consistency.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Right. Kenny, meanwhile, is worried about the fight between Haruka and Risako. He's extremely worried. It's weighing on his conscience. And he brings up that he was looking up threads online, which that happens occasionally on the show where, they're very aware of the social media around them. But apparently he's found out via, I don't know, probably Twitter or maybe 2channel or something, that Haruka blocked Risako on Instagram.
Oh
man,
this 6th grade drama in its full glory and display.
Oh, no.
What a tragedy, man.
Oh man, all this communicates to me is that Kenny was like Googling himself. He was like wanting to know what people were saying.
Yeah,
and he saw that people were discussing that, even though I don't know, like. I know time is a little differently from the way we see it in the episode versus like when it's actually happening. But I feel like this is a dead thing. Like this fight is over. We're past that. And he's just like, I'm worried about them. They might kill each other in their sleep. I don't know.
Instagram followers is everything in life. It's so clear through everything he's done that he is so concerned with how he looks. Everything he does is art. He's worried about if it's something that people will like or not, which we talk about later. But it's just he's so concerned with what's going on in terms of his image. And it's just really been to his detriment this whole part 1, right? All 12 of these episodes, it's been bleeding through. There's signs of that. And it's part of the reason why I can't really relate to the guy.
Yes. Absolutely. Jack, you put it really, really you put it really well. I want to stake a claim in what happens in this scene too, because I think, as Jack said, it does come through the rest of the episode, and I think it fills in a lot of blanks for me with Kenny in terms of like his kind of, I don't know, motivations in the house sometimes and why he says certain things. So
yeah, like he just seems to be like really worried for no reason, and at least he's smart enough to admit that he's hearing a lot of this from Risako too, so like Risako could be lying to make herself look better than Haruka, which that's a total possibility. But I think Kaori really nails it on the head here when she says Risako is a lot more friendly toward the guys, especially you in particular. Haruka is not. So because there's like less interaction you have with Haruka, the differently you probably see her.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't know. This at the end of the day, though, this kind of boils down to like drama that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like I get the power of social media, right? Like, you know, when you're trained to be a journalist, there's a lot of like, oh, you got to have good branding on social media and all that shit. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just followers. It's just people pretending to like you and giving you numbers.
But why do you care?
Yeah.
Who is following who? I don't give a fuck.
I mean, some people get caught up in that, man. It's a slippery slope of, especially if you're the type who leans towards clout chasing and whatever else. Like what happens on social media matters a ton to you. And I mean, I think we're learning pretty quickly here that Kenny is one of those people, right? Man. Like he definitely cares what's happening on social media.
Yeah.
And, you know, but the thing is, you know, some people, it's really difficult for them to disconnect that from real life. You know, they can't, it's hard for them to take a step back. And some people are so used to that dopamine drip. I mean, it's like an addiction.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like
it became very clear very quickly that Kenny is really the only one that sees this as like, ooh, hot drama. Yeah. Everyone else kind of lambasted it.
Yeah, and it became a weird moment, and maybe didn't need to be.
Yeah, because we move up to the girls' room, and now Kaori was with Haruka, and Kaori asks, "Hey, did you block Risako?" And Haruka is a bit wishy-washy about it. It's like she's afraid to answer the question. She's kind of like, "Oh, no."
So this is like a really good case study here. I mean, the camera zoomed in on Haruka's response pretty well there, and it was so obvious to me she was lying and being deceitful. And this is like, I mean, with those nonverbal cues. And so this is something kind of interesting, right? Like if you ask somebody a question and if they shift their eyes to the left real quick, like Haruka did here, more than likely that's a sign that they're being deceitful in whatever they say next. If they actually go to the right, if they shift their eyes to the right, then they're more than likely being truthful, which is interesting. And obviously, as we know, if someone's trying to remember something, they usually shift up to the left as well with their eyes. So when she did that, I rewound it a couple times, like, oh my God, it's like so obviously a lie. So interesting fact there.
And I just wonder why she felt the need to lie about it. It's like, who cares, right? Like, especially
they were even framing it as like, it's not a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, just like
yeah.
As much as we've been saying social media, you know, like it's not that big a deal. After a fight as big as they had, in episode 9, it's like, would I fault her for unfollowing Risako? Like, not even a little bit. Like, that was a rough fight.
Also, like Kenny, she's concerned with her image. She's concerned with how she comes across on the show with cameras, all that stuff. So that's probably, it was a knee-jerk reaction to lie. That's kind of not a great trait, right? Like when the first thing you do is like, oh, what do I do to look cool here?
Yeah. They shift the conversation over to the fact that they both agree that the guys can be tough to talk to for both of them. Especially Kenny, because he's too chill, which might be where the name of this episode comes from, because he's just always chilling, man. He's
always chilling.
Yeah, he's just chilling out, relaxing, going with the flow.
Maxing all cool.
Yeah.
Some b-ball outside of the school, but a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. Got one little fight. My mom. Okay, how long are you gonna let me go?
We're not stopping going.
Yeah,
forever and ever and ever.
Now
no, I think that I mean, as we've said several times before, it's not really so much chilling as he is just passive. He's just passive about everything.
Passive boys.
Exactly.
He's the number one passive boy.
Why is it that whenever we get a musician on this show, I get excited at first and I'm always let down.
Okay,
On Terrace House, not just Tokyo.
As I say, opening new doors, Masao was anything but passive.
But you still got let
He
down.
had
But
his
we did
own
get let down.
issues,
I got
but
let down. They're always
That's true.
disappointing. It's
That's
like a
fair.
liability if you're a musician now. And Terrace is like, can we go a stint here and just see what happens when we don't bring any more musicians? Because they always seem to disappoint for me.
Yeah, we'll have to
It's
see.
a curse.
It is.
But they also do both agree that of the boys, Shohei is the easiest to talk to, which I feel that because Shohei just seems like the most interesting of the three boys,
Yeah.
just in general. And he gives, more often than not, the most sage advice.
Yes.
Yes,
He has
I
the
definitely.
mean, he like
Hello.
brought us back to reality in terms of like, oh, you know, there's bigger issues out there. There was a murder down the block.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. No, he definitely gives salient advice, and I think that he tends to ground the people in the house, even if it might be something as like, hey, like we shouldn't be worrying about petty stuff. We should be worrying about what's going on in the world. Even if this is not the most empathetic answer, it's definitely like it grounds people, and he shows a genuine interest in what people have going on with them.
I just think generally this group of three guys is just generally weak as a trio. And so I think Shohei's getting the Terrace House bump here because we're comparing him to Ruka and Kenny.
Yeah.
And
What-
it's more they're lame, not Shohei's so great,
Mm.
my opinion.
What-
fine,
what's
though,
Kind
but-
of, what's kind of interesting too is that the guys never became that good of friends. I feel like they definitely talk, but like, have we ever really seen them hang out like outside
hang
of the
out.
house?
I thought Shohei and Ruka would become better friends early on, but yeah, it's gone nowhere. There's not great I mean, that's the thing. It's so passive. It's not great, but it's not bad either. It's just like
Yeah.
bleh, just like there.
It is very bloody. You don't see them going out to a bar and drinking and talking, or
Yeah.
going out to dinner and talking. We just don't really get many scenes like that. I mean, maybe we did, but I can't remember the last one.
Last time they had a powwow, I feel like was when Risako complained that they were being too passive, and then Shohei said to the guys, "Hey, we're being too passive." Right? That's the last time I feel like all
Yeah.
three of them had any conversation in the room.
Yeah, usually what you see is Shohei and Kenny kind of mentoring Ruka a bit, you know, like giving him encouragement and advice, which is nice, but it doesn't feel like it goes any deeper than that. It kind of feels like they do it out of obligation because he's the young one.
Yeah.
I'm ready for more people, guys. I think I'm there now. That might be the moral of this whole episode. Is like I'm ready for a refresh, a Terrace refresh.
Same.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm getting there too, but we'll talk about it.
I'm getting
as we
Nancy.
get to-
So the next scene here is a classic example of Shohei just being a stand-up guy, where Haruka wants to talk to him. She basically unloads a bit and says, I know I have trouble making friends with people my age. It's just kind of tough. And Shohei pretty much nails it on the head, where he says, if you're distant, then others will be too. Like, you can't
Yeah.
close yourself off from people and expect others to open up to you.
So there's a lot going on here for me with this scene, because she also goes on to elucidate that when she doesn't have any problems hanging out and finding something to talk about when she's with older guys. The thing that really stood out to me here was that she's like, well, naturally, I'm the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that I kind of get that. Like, I feel like she needs, because think about what she said when the guys were being too passive. She's like, do I not have any allure? Like, she needs people to pay a lot of attention to her and make her feel beautiful. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, at all. But it's something that's definitely central to her core desires in order to feel close to somebody and be friends with them. So if she's not getting that kind of vibe from someone, then she's not gonna, it doesn't sound like she's gonna overextend herself to try and connect with anyone else either. And so I get that aspect of it. Like, for me personally, in my personal relationships, I cannot ever, and maybe this is a character flaw, I don't know, you guys tell me, but like, I just can't pretend I like somebody if I don't like them. Like, if I'm not talking to you, if I'm not trying to hang out, like, it's not because I'm waiting for you to do something, it's because I don't want you to talk to me either. You know, it's
Talk
like,
to me.
yeah, it's like I'm treating you the way I want to be treated, this kind of thing. And I'm okay being around people, like, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm realistic about that. Like, everyone can't like everybody. I can't be everyone's best friend. I'd much rather have quality of friends rather than quantity of friends. And like, I don't ever want to feel like obligated to do something on the weekend or Friday night that I don't want to do. And I don't want to feel like forced to pretend that I like somebody when I really don't like them. I actually wouldn't mind avoiding you. So I can see her, if she's in a house and she's not connecting with people in that house, like feeling that weird pressure, like, well, I'm on this show, like I have to sit here and have conversations with you at these days and times in these rooms that we specified. Like, yeah, that would be kind of rough. Like, well, actually, I'm just not interested in talking to you. And so I don't want to. So I kind of almost thought the way that conversation was going was that she was going to tell him that she's leaving soon.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
I totally got that impression, because it feels a lot like the same thing that Kenny said, in the terms of like, I'm not asking people out because I don't want to give them the impression that I like them. It's like she's not hanging out with people because she doesn't want to give them the impression that she wants to hang out with them. But in terms of practicality, I loved the moment where it was like, well, everyone's so old and I don't want to be like a lonely old lady because all my friends are going to die long before me.
Oh my God.
It's kind of come full circle. Shohei in the beginning was like the old people who think that we're going to die. And now Hanaka's talking about the old people dying too.
Now she's like, all my old people are going to die on me.
Yeah. I mean, it could be
sad.
It could be part of the reason why she took offense at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely could be part of it, because she doesn't want to think about some of her older friends that are definitely, they're probably going to kick the bucket before she does.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, and to Jack's point too, like, relationships are a two-way street, but when it comes down to it, man, like beyond that, there's only so much time in the day. There's only so many relationships you could foster, right? You know, because otherwise, some of those relationships are going to suffer. It's just how it goes. So you got to pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, and then if you do have like 45 friends and they're all constantly pulling you and doing things, like you're almost living for them rather than living for yourself. Like you're never going to have any time for yourself either. And that can be a stressor as well.
And also, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just like as you hit adulthood, you kind of realize this, like, you don't need to see someone every day to maintain a relationship with them. You don't need to see them every week or even every month. Like the older you get, you kind of realize like relationships, like everyone gets busy with one thing or another thing, So it's kind of amorphous in that idea that you don't need to keep texting each other. You don't need to keep calling each other every night unless you're like besties or like family or something, right? I think with Haruka, what her thing here is that she doesn't really want to forge many relationships because she's not interested in other people, right? Like that's kind of the big driving force here, is that Shohei says you have to express interest in people. And she's like, but I'm not interested in people.
Which sounded just like super blunt, but at the same time, I totally get it, but it's just it's a harsh phrase. Like, I'm not interested in other people.
I respect it. Like, be real. Because I don't want someone, I mean, that's why, controversial opinion, that's why Shohei and Kaori aren't going to be a thing. Because Shohei doesn't look at Kaori as being someone who's sincere and real. So I would rather that happen, and if we don't get along, then so be it. We weren't meant to. But it's funny, Robert, you bring up that point about, when you're adults, you don't need to speak very often to maintain a friendship, because literally one of my best friends from the Midwest, I moved here to Austin, 3 years ago. And one of my best friends, we had a mutual friend that was on the local news, and it wasn't a great characterization back home. But I texted him, like, first time in 2 years, like, hey, this guy that we both know was on the local news. Did you see the story? And he hadn't seen it yet. But it was like we never skipped a beat, just like, hey, hope you're good. Hope you're well. Wish your family well. Da-da-da. Next time I'm in town, like, let's hang out. And it was super cool. And we're still, like, I can still consider him one of my best friends in the world. I just haven't talked to him for 2 years. But it's still all good.
Those are the best friendships, where you can just pick up right where you left off. Right? It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know. I think to counter your point, Jack, about like, so I agree that, yes, I don't want to be friends with people I don't want to be friends with. Right. Like, that's just kind of like, who wants that? But I think there is this baseline, like, human decency of like, I don't want to be your friend in the long run, but we can at least have a pleasant conversation, even if it's about the weather. Like, we can at least be decent to each other.
I think she's tried that, and I think she's past it now. So yes, it's like a gradual thing, right? It's not like all or nothing. Like, I think Haruka's maybe attempted that so far, and she has been like proactively like, you know, asking Shohei to go to the workshop and trying to do things and hang out with people. Obviously the Risako thing is what it is, but I think she's at that point now where she's like, you know what, kind of throwing her hands up. That's why I thought she was about to say I'm out.
Yeah, I think part of it too, well, it's like, okay, yes, if you don't want to have like a superficial relationship, or she doesn't have interest in the people she lives with, that's fine. But also, you have to keep in mind too that like, if you're living in a house with other people for an extended period of time, right,
On a show,
especially on a show,
yeah,
and you're not doing anything to sort of build those relationships, and it never really, like, we've 12 weeks. This is like week 12 here, right?
Yes.
And it's been 12 weeks and you haven't really gotten much past like basic conversation or pleasantries. I mean, that can be pretty mentally draining. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, that can even make you depressed, you know, because in a way you don't really have anyone to regularly talk to unless you're going out of your way outside of the house.
I mean, it's kind of a toss up now for me, her or Shohei as being the first to leave. You know, they both are kind of in the same kind of funk right now, you know, for different reasons, but they both seem to not really be connecting and not really seeing any romance blossoming. And I think Haruka, you know what we know of her, I think she kind of came in thinking she was going to be the hot girl of the three girls. Like, oh man, all the guys are going to be paying attention to me. This is what I'm used to. This is what happens every time I hang out with my old guys. I'm the center of attention. They're going to be fawning over me. It's going to look really good. It's going to be good for my career. And like literally, Kenny said she looked good from below in the pool one time, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe I wonder what part of
comment.
her personality has to do with that too, that we didn't see.
Right.
Maybe, you know, that she corners people, and like she and Risako both, they should have bonded on this, but like the number of times that they have like ranted at people and then they're like, oh yeah, okay. Like clearly not understanding entirely what their point is. They should have bonded on that. They could have been besties at interrogations.
They let guys and rivalries and petty shit get in the way, and it so often does.
And that's the thing, though, is that because they're bad at discussions like that, when they finally do have a pretty heated discussion, neither of them really understand the other, despite saying that, like, I think I understand you and we're just not going to fight about it anymore. I don't know. Maybe that's just the whole genesis of the girl fight, is that they're too similar, that they're too stubborn. They're both, you know.
They're
Deep.
But in this discussion with Shohei as well, Haruka does admit that she blocked Risako, quote, by mistake. It was on purpose.
Guys,
sure
can I
did.
hold on?
Yeah.
Moment of silence, everybody. Hey, Daly, Robert and Colin, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's all.
Okay. But yeah, Haruka did block her by mistake. You know, it was just an accident, you know? And then I love Shohei's response here because he's just like, just talk to her. Like, it's fucking social media. What does it matter? Just talk to her, you know? Like, he's again, very level-headed here. So we go to the girls' room, and it's Kaori and Risako. And Kaori's asking Risako, hey, are you ever comfortable in this room? Like, does this room make you uncomfortable? Which I think is a fair question to ask, right? Risako is in the middle of responding, and then Haruka walks in. Silence. The conversation dies.
Got mad awkward.
So
mad
awkward.
awkward.
Like,
yeah, it did.
Whoa. Like, this is the kind of thing that Risako was talking about, where when she walks into the room, the conversation dies. Same thing here.
Yeah.
And then
That's a legitimate complaint to have, too. It's like, clearly you don't want me to hear what you were saying, or you don't feel comfortable with me being there.
yeah, it's a palpable energy.
Yeah. And so Risako just plops down and then she's like reading the back of some sort of like
Haruka,
nail product or
Haruka.
something, makeup.
Yeah, Haruka sits down. And
Yeah.
and then she just whispers to Kaori,
So
hey, should I bring up the social media thing?
Anyone would hate that.
I know.
If-
like, why?
Especially if someone that you don't already get along with. Like, bitch.
I
What's
think
going
I
on
was I was visibly face palming when this was happening. I was like, are we in fucking high school?
It's
Are
like,
we in middle school?
It's like, does Haruka just not understand how annoying that would be, or just not care? I think it's she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's heard it from Risako herself that it's like, well, you guys are such good friends, and, like, you whisper to each other, underscore, underline, like...
Right in front of me.
She knows that bothers Risako, and yet She's still
Does it
doing
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
And, Cowdy I feel like she's getting a little annoyed by it too, because the first thing she says is, hey, why are you nudging me? Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, just be an adult. Just say what's on your mind. Because, I mean, even if you had done the whisper thing and then decide, let's not bring it up, like, you've just brought it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't just say, like, oh, I've got a secret. It's about you, but I'm not going to say it. Like,
Never mind. Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
it's nothing.
it's so
Oh my
middle
god!
school.
Like I don't know. The whole scene was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so that of course they talk about their Instagram thing, which is what Haruka was whispering about. And yeah, that's just like, okay, yeah, I blocked you. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, I don't care. Neither of us care.
She said she
No one
unblocked
cares.
her afterward.
Yeah,
But-
guess what?
yeah.
I just blocked you. Who cares?
Yeah, no one cares. And then
They've already established they don't fucking like each other.
The thing about it is, why did Kenny had to stir this shit up? Why did he even bring it up? Why does he care? It's kind of all goes back to Kenny snooping.
He was trying to be less passive in the worst way possible.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah.
and I hate too that because he's older, his concern there, I think, tricked Cowdy into thinking like, oh, maybe this is a thing to be concerned about. She becomes the messenger
Nope.
for his message.
Mhm.
That's Cody's job in the house, it seems, is just to be the messenger all the time.
I noticed something about the way everyone speaks to each other. I've only ever heard like senpai, like the honorific senpai, like you are my elder, you know more than me, used with Kaori. No one says that to Kenny. It's always Kenny-san or
Interesting.
just Kenny.
Yeah.
Like the respect difference that we have seems to be the same respect difference that they have as far as like who's the real mature one here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I totally get that. But Risako shifts gears to Cowdy now and is like, hey, how do you feel about Ruka? And, Cowdy is seeing that he's trying. He's at least trying, and he's becoming a little bit more of a man to her. Maybe
Just a little bit.
maybe things are on the horizon for them. I'm not sure.
Oh man,
I wouldn't go that far.
We'll see. I mean, did you see the pasta? Did you see that? He is trying though.
I mean, he's trying, but if I'm Kaori in this situation, I'm not gonna look at that and be like, okay, he's been cleaning up his dishes and making himself food for the past 3 days. I like him now. Like
He's
that's not how it works.
on the upward trend. I give him his props.
Yes.
Right.
He's doing what he needs to do to improve. Slowly, baby steps here.
Yeah.
Up the stairs.
The line that caught my attention, though, was Cowdy said that she's seeing him as more of a man, just like at the Tamago Kake Gohan restaurant.
Oh.
And I don't think watching a boy talk about how he wants to be Spider-Man is necessarily a manly conversation.
Yeah, it was a
Question
very
mark?
confusing comment for me too, because I mean, it was still like a mom and son date.
Yeah. Maybe it's because he like went out of his way to find the restaurant and like was like, oh, I'm being thoughtful.
Yeah, it was thoughtful.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was.
We cut to the shitro, and then we cut to the kitchen, where it's June 25. It's Cowdy's birthday. And everyone in the kitchen's preparing. You got Risako, Shohei, Kenny, and Ruka. Apparently, Ruka's been cooking since 3. And then Haruka leads Cowdy in by covering her eyes the entire time. It's like, step this way. No, over here, this way. Turn around. Okay, over here. All right, now sit.
It's so cute.
It is pretty cute.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
This whole scene is adorable.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. Then she lifts her hands, and then Cowdy is like, oh my God. Everyone sings happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So my question is, isn't the happy birthday song like copyrighted by someone or something?
Yes.
So I wonder how Netflix got away with putting it in the show.
Hey, I think I think the time has passed now. I think you can just sing happy birthday openly.
Yeah, fair.
And it was not in English either, so who knows?
That's
And
true.
plus, I mean, he was playing it himself. It's not like they played it on a recording.
Yeah, it's not like they played a song. Yeah,
Right.
Right.
it's such
but
a dumb thing. God,
it's a nice time. I will say it was a little bit underscored for me by the fact that there was definitely some yellowtail wine on the table.
Some
Like-
nice cheap wine.
Nice.
Cheap wine.
hey man,
Yeah.
get the job done.
It looked like they had a good time.
The thing about it is her face. She's like, oh wow. She looked at the food, looked over at Kenny like, oh wow, sing her the song. And then I think Shohei, I can't remember who exactly said it, he's like, Ruka cooks all the food, and then the look on her face is like, oh no. It's like, oh god. Well, in fucking fairness here, Ruka did an awesome job, and you know what? He cooked a lot. I'll say it. He cooked a lot of shit that I definitely can't cook or have not cooked before. The guacamole
Paella.
looks solid. Paella. He did steamed mussels. That doesn't seem easy to me to make it good.
Yeah,
So
no.
I mean, he has made leaps and bounds, as Tokui said. Like we might see him with some giant mural on the side of the building someday. Like, look what I did.
Yeah. He
Okay, so
came back from the brink
not
of
to
death.
yuck everyone's yum about how good Ruka's cooking is, but I would like to point that they said the words he was the head chef. So he obviously got help from the rest of the people in the house.
think?
Yeah. He said
Okay.
They said head chef. Yeah. I think people helped him out. He Googled some recipes. They helped him make stuff. And he probably got some help from Shohei. In fact, he probably got a lot of help from Shohei, but he was giving him all the credit to make him look good in front of Kaori.
I'm saying he did stuff that I've never even attempted yet. So like props to him, and they're giving him the credit. And I guess it tasted good too.
Yeah, my theory's in line with Colin. I think Shohei is the world's greatest wingman and cooked most of that stuff and let Ruka take credit for it.
I want to think Ruka did it himself. Let me live my lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. I'm sure he sure as hell didn't plate it. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. It would have been almost better if he hadn't cooked it because of like the kind of backhanded comment that he gets, like, oh, this is really good. No, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. And I think later, like, you likens that to like a grandmother being like, this is the best piece of art I've ever seen. Let me put it on the fridge kind of thing, you know,
Right there on the fridge.
where it's really like patronizing.
Yeah.
Right.
It just felt a little bit like, oh, we've seen your worst. And now like there's a very low bar for you to pass for me to be like, this is good, you know?
Wow, this is so good. I'm so surprised.
I think one thing we can all agree on is like he's making improvements over that egg water pasta broccoli.
The carbonara, if you will.
Yeah.
was it?
It was not carbonara. But what I find fun here is they actually mentioned Shingeki no Kyojin by name, Attack on Titan by name, which is like arguably one of the biggest anime in the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. I didn't know that Kaori had a big interest in anime or manga or any of that. And so, because when she was referencing books, I was like, what the hell is she talking about? And then Ruka runs and grabs his
Short
Shingeki
stack.
no Kyojin, his short stack of manga, hands it over to Kaori along with some sunscreen and other presents for her birthday.
To
And
block the infrared rays.
infrared rays. I'm like, oh my
It
God.
it
Everyone was
so smooth.
giving him so much shit for that.
It was cute.
It was so
more than anything.
smooth up until that moment because it was like an easy way for him to be like, oh, you wanted to borrow that manga. Yeah, let me go grab that. And then him being like, oh, here's also a present. And then he opened his mouth.
He started talking.
To be fair, Ruka, that's some dumb shit that I would say.
How'd you pick that perfume? I smelled it. No, we know you smelled it. But also about that short stack of manga he dropped down on the table. If you look closely, those pages look worn. He read those a bunch. Those got some turns going on. There were some well-worn books.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him though. Attack on Titan's like, I mean, it's not my cuppa, but I get it. It's a big deal. People like it.
Yeah, I wonder though if Kaori is reading it just to read it, or if she's reading it for Ruka's sake to take interest.
I was thinking maybe she was just like doing research too for her own art. That's kind of how I looked at it.
Oh, do not try to do the art from Shingeki no Kyojin.
It's rough.
It's bad. It's rough. It is not.
No?
It's improved. It's improved over time. It is not a manga I would.
So
use
it's the
as a
most
good
popular, but it
basis.
doesn't look good, is what you're saying.
It's the story of it. People were
Wow.
captured by the story.
Interesting.
I think honestly there might be a little bit of actual interest from Kaori because like when or actually it might have been Risako who said this, but when Ruka brought out the manga, someone said something along the lines of like, oh, is this like after the basement thing, which is like a really big turning point later in the story. You know, so it's like that's at least some level of like, oh, I know what the story is like, you know, like I have some investment in what this is. I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And it's very few times do you see other major like products or I guess shows mentioned on this show, so it was neat for me.
So that's one for Attack on Titan. We've gotten a Dragon Ball reference one other time too.
Yeah, and another thing too in this scene, that this happens like after everyone scatters. Basically everyone realizes like, oh, Ruka just gave a gift, we should give him alone time with Kaori, right? And Kaori asks, do you know what you want to do when you're 30? He doesn't know, but he just wants to be rich. Which I think ties into the whole, like, I want to be cool.
Join the fucking club. Oh, you want to be rich, you say? Oh, okay.
Don't we all?
Yeah, it's like, that's such, again, that just feels like a, you know, a 10-year-old. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be rich.
Yeah, and dude, this dude has no clue what the hell he wants, in case that's not apparent by now.
In Tokyo or New York, and I've seen that too. There's a lot of interest of just people that's never been to America to go to New York City. I definitely understand it because it's just so prevalent in media and entertainment. But I've lived here my whole life. I've never been to New York City.
I still want to go.
I read that as him desperately trying to relate to
Spider-Man
Kaori in some way, because she didn't. Oh,
that's it.
Spider-Man, right?
That's it.
Yeah, like that's
He
Spider-Man
can't become a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man until he's actually in New York,
in the Bronx.
But
I was like, dude, you can't even speak English yet.
But didn't Kaori mention something about New York? And then he was like, oh, I'd love to go to New York. We're totally the same.
I think.
I swear.
Gosh.
I want to say, because I know Kaori, she's
But
traveled
it's
a
like
lot.
she's a well-traveled person.
Yeah.
She is.
She lived
Well,
in France. She
Canada.
talked about, you know, eating the mussels when she was in
Paris.
Paris.
Well to
'Cause they
do
were
that
cheap.
Kaori. Well to do.
Very well to do.
Yes.
I did find it kind of strange that, like, when everyone did kind of scramble out of the kitchen to give them quote unquote alone time,
Yeah, it was very
just
blatant.
felt a little stilted.
It was very, very blatant. Like,
That's
I've
read
got-
the room kind of stuff there that I wouldn't get. I'd be like, well, this is a birthday party, so let's party. Not like, oh, he wants to talk to her, let's leave. That would have gone over my head.
Yeah, just really strange. And there's no way that Cody didn't just pick up on what the hell just happened there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's another one of those moments that felt very overly produced, you know? Producer San stepped in, said, hey, everyone, can you fuck off?
Everyone leave.
Yeah.
Can you please get the fuck out?
Yeah.
Trying to have a moment here.
Matt, get the mat.
Get
Bring out the
matto.
Okay.
Next scene here, we're on the roof and it's Shohei and Kenny. And Kenny is all of a sudden, out of nowhere, very interested in Risako. He says, what is that? Quote, well, it's not cool to be wishy-washy, so yeah, I do like her.
So the only thing that makes sense to me is that he was reading the online comments.
Yep. That sounds like a quote. Like he could have looked into the camera and been like, I'm not wishy-washy. Here, I'll prove it.
Exactly,
That's why this is so fucking sudden. Because it's clear he's indicated he's really looking online, you know, in the comments 4 or 5 weeks back or whatever. That's what everyone's saying. Like, hey, Risako likes you. Fucking go for it. You fuck. And now he finally does. Yeah, like way too late.
And keep it, I think when this episode airs or when it's being recorded for episode 12, that's when episode, I want to say 7 came out, which is their first date when they went to like Captain's Helm and bought the grinder and stuff.
Yep, that's what happened here. I'm calling it 100%.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jack. I think that the only reason that he said that was because that he's trying to do damage control for his image on the show right now. And so it was just the way he phrased it too. And in fact, you get kind of a little bit of clues from Shohei because I'm pretty sure he's laughing at him because Shohei's thinking like, dude, you are so full of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, oh, really? You like Risako now? That's like kind of the vibe I got from Shohei.
They want to go. They want to go supping, stand up paddleboarding. Anybody ever done it?
Nope.
I did it once. It was cool. Okay.
Was it fun? Did you get to see the sunset?
My wife was supping and I was just in a regular kayak, so she had a blast.
Nice.
It's a workout.
Yeah, no, he has this whole date plan, which, like, I mean, that's cool. It's good to know that as a 31-year-old, or is it 32 now, He can competently plan a date. Good for him.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to look at a weather forecast, though.
No.
Yeah, it's like he was literally like, oh yeah, I've thought about it over the past 3 days, and I like Risako now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how Sho even points that out. He says straight up, like, just a few days ago, you didn't like her that much. Like, literally just a few days.
Well, it was the shirt. She picked out the shirt that matched his, and now she's cute.
What the fuck is that?
Everything she does is cute. Everything she does, I'm just suddenly noticing is cute.
Yeah,
It's
every
Okay.
Something about Risako too. I don't know if you guys know this, but she has several videos of her like doing workout stuff on YouTube with like a lot of views, like 100,000s of views. Like
Ooh.
she's got an online presence before Terrace House ever happened, you know. So Kenny, look at those. I mean, she looks, you know, is she not attractive after looking at those videos? Like, what is happening? The shirt.
He
the
watched
shirt,
the
really?
videos. He watched the videos and then he was like, "Wait, Spicy Soul could be in the background."
Oh yeah, they have to
Yes.
like promote the
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, too
Oh,
little, too
God.
late, right? Too little, too late is the whole theme here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like I get that, you know, a lot of the greatest loves that happen on the planet usually come from unspectacular things. Like I would totally believe like, oh, when was the first moment you knew you loved her? Was, oh, she picked a shirt that matched mine. And it's like, that's a cute moment. That's
cute.
But it's not cute when
Yeah.
you've already known her for 11 weeks, have already gone on a few dates, and it's like you've had all this time to develop your feelings for her if you like her or not. And then all of a
Has that
sudden
m-
it's a shirt.
Yeah, the rooftop scene was kind of the make or break. I get the sense, and it didn't. It fizzled.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
Kenny's stock with me has already been like dropping and dropping and dropping. And now it's like he's finally like the coaster's coming to the drop on the hill and it's just letting go now. It's just free falling for me. Because this scene after this scene is just his stock with me is free falling. It gets worse and worse and worse throughout this episode for
So
me
bad.
with him.
So let's go to a different scene here. Let's go out to the porch where Kojima-san is working on the porch, and
Still on that porch.
Shohei, exhibiting the newest of his talents, helps him carry soil.
Good guy, Shohei.
God, Shohei.
Don't do another job.
Shohei's like legit. I thought that Shohei's going to be the one that works with Kamakura for this season.
Yeah, I mean he's the most likely to. It was cool that he went out there just to help. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, like really? Like yeah, for real. Like come help. So
Shohei just seems like a
that was
stand-up
nice one.
guy. He just doesn't have that one post to
Yeah.
go to.
Gives
Yeah.
him water. Him and Risako bring him water.
That was like the most like staged moment I've ever witnessed in Terrace House, I feel like, because it was like all these like worker dudes sitting down and it's like, so are there couples yet? And like
Yeah.
Shohei even started laughing.
Yeah.
Like burst out laughing at the ridiculousness of this like weird staged tableau that they had going on.
Mm-hmm. But the answer, of course, is no. But Risako does say she finds Kenny hot, so that's a start.
Kenny's hot.
Yeah.
Kenny's he's hot.
If the moral of this is anything, is that like looks can only take you so far.
Mm.
You know, like someone will be
Mm.
attracted to you for your looks, but they'll stay with you and fall in love with you for your personality and for the
Mm.
way you make them feel. And Kenny makes girls feel nothing.
I'd argue he goes as far as to make them feel unwanted, because here Risako's whole sticking point is that it's great that Kenny is so self-reliant and always tries to solve his problems himself,
Mm.
but he never relies on me even once. He doesn't like he doesn't trust me with his problems. Is the vibe
Yeah,
I
he's
get.
still got a wall up. He's had a wall
Yeah.
up since day fucking one.
What did she say? Something like, "Oh, I wish he would lean on me when he's having a bad day," or you know,
Yeah.
just be more transparent. Just feel like, you know, I have a circle of trust kind of thing.
Right.
And it's not there.
I mean, and that's
I don't
what
think that's a lot to ask for.
yeah, and that's what a
From
relationship
him, it
is,
seems
right?
like, yeah.
Like even if it's friendship, if it's platonic or romantic, like the stronger bonds are formed when you've had a bad day and you're like, you know, today's the shitty day. I need to talk to this person, or I need to lean on this person. You know what I mean? That's where a friendship really starts. But Kenny doesn't seem to do that much.
At least I get to soak in the glorious silver-lined majesty of that man's coif, his hair, his beard.
Yeah, he has good
All
hair
day.
for an old man.
I would
talking
love a
about
whole show of this.
Kojima, right?
Kojima-san.
Okay.
That
I
man,
was
he
like-
could be a model.
He's
even in his old
he
age.
is he is a great look.
Oh yeah. The next scene we get here is a bit of a weird one. I feel like this could have gotten even weirder, but it didn't. We have Risako and Kenny sitting on the couch. We also have Kaori and Ruka sitting on the couch, and then Shohei lounging with a mini guitar. And it's basically the two pseudo couples kind of finalizing their dates, like their next dates.
Make sure you sit on the couch this time and day.
Yeah.
And don't ask each other out until then. That's what this was.
It just, it felt weird.
And go. Yeah, so, it seemed jilted. It seemed not real. Yeah.
Action.
Yeah, but then Kaori turns to Risako and goes like, hey, can we talk on the roof? And they go up to the roof. And this is where I think we get the sense that Kaori is leaning more towards Shohei than Ruka. Because
she basically says as much, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't know what to say with Ruka at all. But with Shohei, it's so easy.
Something else we learned about Shohei, he has 2 weird knee tattoos. I didn't know that until this episode.
Yeah, he has a lot of tattoos, actually. Like, he has a lot? Yeah, he has some on his upper left arm, I think, or it might be one of his upper arms. He has tattoos.
I wonder if he has one of the monokini just somewhere we haven't seen it yet.
Ooh, I'd love it.
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we've really seen him like shirtless or anything yet because we haven't had any bullshit.
We have seen him shirtless. Thank you very much.
We've seen him.
What do you mean?
We've seen him more than shirtless.
Okay, another reason I'm frustrated with this season is because there's no fucking pool scenes yet. Fuck.
It is June. It's June. It just became summer.
Get in the pool.
Get in there.
Yeah. But yeah, on the roof, what I find funny here is that Risako suggests to Kaori like to go with the flow with Ruka, because if you baby him and make the date too easy for him, he's not going to learn. Which I think it's a kind of good advice. You know, it's like if you keep forcing the conversation and driving the conversation, he's not going to learn how to have conversations with people.
Yeah, which makes me wonder about she might be interested in Shingeki no Kyojin. It's definitely popular, but now I'm worried that it's like he jumped on that and it was like, oh my gosh, let's talk about Shingeki no Kyojin. She's just more of like a casual fan, and it's like, okay, Ruka, yeah, I'll entertain this for you.
That's the thing too, and this points to why Shohei and Kaori, sad as it is, are not maybe the most compatible, because as I've stated in earlier podcasts, that Shohei is very comfortable being uncomfortable, and now I'm getting a sense that Kaori is not comfortable being uncomfortable.
She's very people-pleasing, placating.
She needs it to go smooth. She needs it to go well at all times. And Ruka needs to take some more L's. I mean, he's taking a few here, but he needs to take some hard L's, and to grow and to learn and to see what works and what doesn't work. So maybe a bad date with Kaori would be good, because at the very least, if she's not going to be open and upfront with him, she's told everyone else in the house how she feels, but she hasn't told him. But if she's not going to do that, then at least don't placate the guy, and don't make him feel like all the dates are going in a positive direction, because they're fucking not. They're not going anywhere. Don't string anybody on. Inadvertently.
Yeah, even though Ruka definitely. They've already talked to Ruka about how immature he is and blah blah blah, and he still thinks he has a good chance with Kaori. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I don't know. I would feel really deflated if I were him in that situation, and I wouldn't feel like I really had much of a chance. But he's still keeping it going, and he's at least trying to let that be a motivation for him to improve. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe that
the man tries.
Maybe he thought by blocking all those infrared rays, she would find love.
Oh God!
I wish I knew enough about Attack on Titan to know if infrared rays play a role in it. Because I know amorphous
what
details.
If it was just a joke?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just wanted to make a joke about it, but I can't think of anything. But
let's not give Ruka too much credit. Let's give him just the right amount of credit.
Yeah, it's ultraviolet rays, son. But nonetheless, I do think it's interesting how much Kaori seems to like Shohei here, because she doesn't really show it, but she says straight up that she deeply respects him. And she feels cocky for saying it, but she relates to him. And those are some strong words. That's not just a infatuation or a crush. That's I want to get to know this person, and I want them to be a part of my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's admiration, absolutely.
Yeah. So
that surprised me. I feel like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, surprised me too.
Yeah, but I kind of get it.
Maybe he is, since he's kind of more withdrawn, he's kind of playing the mystery card, because as we also find out about Shohei, he has days where he's very up and vibrant and extroverted, and then he has other days where he's just quiet and sullen and just more introverted. And so he has that tightrope walk of being a little mysterious and like not giving away too much, where that might be intriguing to Kaori. She's interested in perhaps that chase. I mean, I think really he kind of sunk the hook day one. We keep going back to this, which turns out being still one of the most salient scenes in this entire part one, is when he said, "Hey, I'm drawn to you strongly. Like, you know, let's go out. I want to get to know you better." Like, where was that? Where has that kind of dynamic been this whole part here? It peaked early and then it just kind of bleh, fell flat. So, but I think since that moment, Kaori's had Shohei as like her top interest.
Yeah, I think the main reason why Shohei hasn't shown much interest in Kaori in a while is because I don't think that Kaori is really his type. I don't think he, in his mind, likes the passive type all that much.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't know. I don't think that's his thing. I think that's why he latched on to Haruka, because she wasn't afraid to call him out on his shit.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think the thing we see in Shohei is that he is a man of action. Because like with episode 1, the strongly drawn thing, he did that because he found an immediate attraction to her, right? Like, that to me signifies that if he finds the girl he really likes, he isn't gonna mince words about it. You know what I mean? He's gonna go for her.
And he's also the only one goading on the other guys too. He's like coaching them, like, Ruka, go do this, go talk to Haruka, right? And Kenny, go fucking kiss her. Oh my god, it's week 12. Like, yeah, clearly Shohei's
going woo in the background.
Yeah,
laughing.
Shohei must be the most experienced. I mean, clearly we saw some of experience, you know what I'm saying? But he's got the most experience with the opposite sex, it seems like.
Right. So let's go into the home stretch here. Let's get into like probably one of the worst love confessions I've seen. So it's the first floor. Kenny's just chilling again. He doesn't want to do anything today. He just wants to take a load off, play his mini guitar.
Was he trying to make like a Bruno Mars reference?
I don't know.
Because like the translation was weird, but it's like he said a much more formal way of saying like, today I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah,
but it was like, today I do not want to do much at all.
The thing I remember about that scene the most is how bright it is in that room in the early day. I was like, wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's like 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it looked good.
Is it that time already? Oh boy.
But guys, how can we talk about this episode without discussing this big ass fucking boxed watermelon?
Yeah, it's
the coolest
huge.
thing. You guys know how I feel about watermelons on Terrace House, okay?
Suika.
Suika. And it was Kiro Suika.
Yellow
watermelon.
Yeah.
When she brought it out, I was like, wait, is the rind yellow or the inside is yellow?
The inside, yeah.
But then the inside was like this
It's a
golden
big
yellow. It
watermelon.
was beautiful.
Gorgeous,
Yeah, it was
dude.
nice.
And it's expensive too. I mean, it's one of those like premium fruits that have like the gold stamp tag on them. Did you see that tag? That's not a cheap watermelon, y'all. And
it has its own box.
Yeah,
Like
relatively seedless too. It was gorgeous. I was like, fruit porn.
Yeah, Rizuko brings it out. And at
Fruit
first,
porn.
they have these plans of like, let's eat it when everyone's around. But then they end up saying like, fuck it, let's just go to the pool. We'll have some ourselves. Like, we'll just hang out. And have
then we
some.
can have more later
Yeah.
when everyone else eats it.
Yeah, it was just a weird scene. Like, it just felt very disconnected. It felt like, you know how they film sitcoms where it's like they really film one person, all of their lines, and then they react to the other person's lines? Like, it just felt disjointed to me.
It did feel disjointed, and I feel like this is another case of it being staged. I feel like this is a setup scene. Like it comes across that way to me.
I'd like to know where the watermelon came from. I mean, was it hers? Because then it would make sense if they're just gonna have half of it with no one else around.
They just said
buy it?
gift.
Or is this going to
They just said
become
it was a gift.
watermelon?
Oh, okay.
Watermelon incident.
Yeah.
The watermelon incident.
So
I'll eat the watermelon.
and then they go to slice it. It looked fucking good, I gotta say. And then she's like, "Oh, my hair gets in the way," and like what normally could be like kind of a flirty thing.
Ooh.
Normally a flirty thing, he just takes his little Kenny pinky and just
The Kenny Pinky.
like, there you go.
It's Kenny Pinky.
I still thought that was like cute.
It was
and
cute-ish, but I've
romantic.
seen it in movies where it's a little more.
He should have done the full hand versus like a pinky.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm not really trying to touch you, but here's
Pinky
the bare
precision.
minimum. Yeah.
But then
I don't want to touch you.
But he was just
Yeah, that's the
holding
vibe I got, yeah.
He was holding the watermelon though, so maybe he didn't want to get watermelon juices all up in her hair.
Fair enough.
So the pinky.
That's true.
I like how it was like the watermelon was literally so juicy. She had to like jump up like after taking a bite.
But I don't know. Like,
Because
the
juice.
best part of the scene was the watermelon to me.
Guys, I'm
Yes.
shocked that you guys didn't like this scene. I was kind of getting like, it was seeming. I mean, maybe I'm just like so starved for some romance here, but I actually thought Kenny was doing well. Yes, it is too little, too late, but I liked the scene when they were saying stuff to each other. Like I can only imagine like when I come home, you're the one I want to see. That was so nice.
So my problem with it is that the delivery felt like they were reading off a teleprompter. It felt like they're saying this because they have to say this because there's nothing happening in the house and we have to be the thing that's happening in the house.
I got real genuine feels here. And like I said, maybe I'm just starved for this, but I thought this was cool. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen and they're going to go forward with it, but I thought it was a really nice moment at least. And I was like, Kenny, finally, oh my God, he's shown up to the house.
I don't know. Colin, you have words.
I don't feel like it was like disingenuine, but
Me neither.
definitely felt like Risako did her thing where she like weirdly like scolded him. It was like, you don't need to like wait for like the ultimate date in order to like say these things. You need to just like know that, you know, I want to see you and hang out with you more. And it was like, it felt to me like weirdly like scolding. I don't know. Like,
she did seem frustrated.
Telling him what it is.
Yeah, and she's like, I've been trying to tell you this for 3 days. Like, yeah, she was not as receptive because I think, again, the time has passed. She's like trying to move on. You know, when she said at the end of that one episode, like, I don't know anymore. And she's kind of showing that now that, yeah, she is unsure. She's not just waiting around for him.
The thing that bothers me about all this is none of it feels earned. It feels out of context, like we just were like dropped into a random romance scene, and part of it feels staged. And I don't know. It just
it's not. Yeah, it doesn't have a natural arc.
No.
And then the boy breaks out the guitar.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to sing you this love song. And she's like, wow, that was very nice. And then the scene ends.
He doesn't want to be, but remember, guys, he doesn't want to be Kenny the singer.
Then why woo
here's
her?
Kenny the singer.
This is like him showing her, like, look, girl, I'm ready for you to hear me sing now, 1-on-1, Candy from Spice's Soul, by this pool, girl, and this juicy ass watermelon. Oh yeah, Tightrope Dancer, or however the song goes. But it's like it wasn't even that good. It wasn't even that good a song.
I didn't say it.
No, it wasn't that great of a song. And after this scene, I'm going to tell you what I said while watching the episode. Okay, fuck this. Kenny needs to leave. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm done with Kenny, dude.
Leave.
I'm over it.
Like, I'm not as mad as Colin about all this, but
I don't know. At the time, I was very viscerally angry. I'm like, I do want to see where this goes, but at the time, I was like, I threw my hands up and I'm like, dude, I'm over it.
I think what bothers me about this scene more than anything, other than the weird delivery and the weird setup, is that all of this is only happening because Kenny looked at the comments online and was like, oh, I need to nut up.
That's the theory here, because he is so concerned with his, with his image online. And
Very concerned.
That is what is, I think, happening.
You're not cool. I don't look cool if I'm wishy-washy. So yeah, I like her.
Yeah. And it just feels
looks into camera.
Right. And the thing is, because he's a singer-songwriter, that song wasn't written for her. That was just a song he's been working on. Let's be honest. Nothing about it. Nothing about it felt specific to Risako. It was just like, hey girl, I like it when we kiss.
Mimes and shit.
Yeah.
Mimes.
Yeah, like it didn't feel like it didn't have anything to do with Risako at all. It was just a girl.
Yeah. Yep. And I wonder what the fallout was when Risako eventually sees this. They watch the show. So she sees the beginning of this episode and he says, I don't look cool if I'm wishy-washy. So I do like her.
Yeah, that's like the worst confession.
Knowing Risako, she absolutely saw that and was like, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe with the song, I'm just trying to get in Kenny-san's head, man. It's hard place to travel to, but maybe he was getting the sense that he did maybe miss his opportunity So like this is his like ace in the hole, right? Like I'm gonna slide in this song because if she's forgotten about me or beginning to forget about me, I'm just gonna gently remind her that hey, I sing too, Spicy Soul.
I mean, yeah, he had very romantic intentions with like watching the sunset on the paddle boards.
Yes,
like maybe this was his way of making up for the lack of, I guess, luster, the ambiance and such. But at the same time, it's like you gotta realize that everyone is accusing you of self-promotion, and this does not help you make a case against that.
Right.
Yeah, most like significant confessions on Terrace House have a certain degree of pomp and circumstance, and he's definitely trying to craft and manufacture that for himself as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Try as he might.
It's I don't know. I feel like I am giving him a lot of flack for no reason, but it's just hard to get out of my head that like, because like, okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing this show for their own promotion, right? Like, let's not get it twisted. It's not like Kenny's the only one who has that motivation, right?
Yeah.
It's more so that that's all it is instead of, I don't know, because like Shohei wants to be seen. Haruka definitely wants to be seen. She's an actress, but I don't know. I don't get the sense that she's on the show to just be like, look at my hair flip acting. You know, it's just, I'm here.
So the thing is with Terrace House is that making yourself more popular in self-promotion is like the meta game of Terrace House, right? It's not the game, it's the meta game. So you're doing it, you're doing it maybe not intentionally or consciously, but you're doing it, right? Whereas Kenny is making the meta game just the game.
Everything. Yeah.
You know, everything to him is the meta game.
Yeah, there's no layer of subtlety to it all.
And exactly. And so his actual game is suffering because of it.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of no layer of subtlety, can we talk about Shohei in this next scene? Because I fucking love Shohei.
Boy.
Dude, he's so good. So in the first floor, it's Kenny, Ruka, Shohei, Risuko. And Kenny asks Risuko, hey, can we meet in the playroom later? And Risuko's like, yeah, sure. I'm just going to go upstairs and like use the bathroom or whatever. And then I'll meet you there. And then Shohei asks, are y'all going to kiss? And then he starts fucking macking with his palm.
Like, this is what it looks like, loser. Do this.
I love
with the mouth and shit. But also, I don't want to like go over too soon, but like, also, Risuko was looking at Racy Instagram and got busted for that. But also, that giant green bowl in front of Ruka looked delicious.
Boy.
And he was just like, there's no like tooth here with the way he eats.
Stuffs his face when he eats. He did it with the pasta. He was doing it with whatever like rice mix was in that bowl. Like his bites are like the size of a fist.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, they thought he was a competitive eater, and I was like, he eats the way I want to eat. Like that's how
I admire him.
Yeah, that's actually how I want to do it, but I'm like, this is gonna look too slovenly, you know. So I'll just go little by little. But like, if he's on international TV here, he don't give a shit.
You want that freedom?
Yeah, I mean, he even got called out too. Like they're like, he's ravenous. He's going into that bowl like he's just scarfing.
Yeah. So I was jealous, honestly, that he just had the reckless abandon to do that on camera.
The reckless abandon.
Oh, and I think also Risuko asked how things are going with Kaori, right? He asked Ruka that, or she asked Ruka that. And Ruka just says like, oh yeah, we talk about anime all the time. I hope that's a good start to a relationship. I don't know if that's like, like there has to be something beyond it, but we'll see.
I also don't think
Ruka,
that Ruka,
you naive boy.
I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I don't think Ruka is necessarily unrealistic too with Kaori. I think he does get the sense, obviously, that she doesn't look at him as a man. That's why he's trying to make these changes. So, even if it doesn't work out, I don't know if it's going to be an explicit shock to him.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely not got the attitude that he has this in the bag. Like, he's going to make a couple minor adjustments, and then she's going to be like, you're a man.
Yeah.
He knows he's fighting an uphill battle, which at least is admirable, right?
Mm. Yes.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for the table. So we get the scene where, okay, so Risako goes, she's like, yeah, I'm going to go upstairs. I'll meet you in the playroom. And then, Shohei does this thing where he's like kissing his hand and he's making a pass at Kenny doing that. And it almost plays into the theory that it's also still him clout chasing, because I think Shohei is aware of that. And I get the sense that it almost communicates in the scene that maybe Kenny doesn't want to do it necessarily.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe his heart, he's just not into it, and Shohei knows that, and he's like, well, you gotta go kiss her now. You fucking you're in deep now, but you already did all this
corner, motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's
you
like,
dug yourself a hole.
What the fuck kind of game is Kenny playing here? Because like, dude, you're fucking 31. He's like, how do people even know when to kiss? Like, you fucking know. Like, even Ruka, listen, guys, even Ruka has a confused ass look on his face. It's actually a really good frame of this episode. And he goes, don't you just figure out the timing together? And even Ruka's like, the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
Kissing's like one of those natural things that two people can do.
I don't know, man.
Kenny secretly has never been kissed.
I think the thing is, when he asked the question, how do you know when to kiss? He left out the part, so your fans like you. How do you know when to kiss? So the
How do you
fans
maximize likes and followers with a kiss on TV?
Exactly. That's
he's like frantically Googling like
the best way to kiss on live TV.
Yeah, so does that play into this theory we have going? It sounds like it's a resounding yes.
Yeah, no, Shohei is like, he's smart, he's smart, he is funny and honest with people. So I think this is him being like a little bit of an asshole, but it's like, you deserve this treatment.
Right. Yeah.
Kenny has a really deadpan reaction to it too, which only like fuels the fire in this situation. He's like, well, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna go to the playroom now. I should probably go.
Yeah. The next scene here is the panel, and I think they're on a similar wavelength we are here about Kenny.
Absolutely.
Because they're like, he seems like he's in love out of nowhere. We think it's social media, but we'll see.
Absolutely.
And then we get to the final scene of part 1. This is it. This is what we've all been leading up to for the past 12 weeks. We're in the playroom. It's Kenny and Risako, and Kenny basically dumps his heart out, I guess. You know, maybe he rehearsed it. Who knows? But when he comes home, he wants to see her too. He's attracted. I like you. And she says, thanks.
They are so
thank you.
They are so physically far away.
So far.
It was uncomfortable for me to watch. Like, dude, there's a TV there. Turn the lights down.
Man.
Turn the TV on. Get a blanket. Sit with your back in the corner. Have her sit in between your legs. Wrap your arms around her and put the blanket over y'all. And turn the lights low and put some TV on. And then gently talk to her and then tell her that. Don't be fucking 5 feet away. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways, bro.
He seemed better at it before, like when like he went to play her the song and he was like, don't sit so far away. It's like, oh, that was smooth. That was good. But in this situation where he's just like, no, I do want to see you when I come home, and that's what I look forward to. I don't know. It just played out kind of like he felt too like weirdly cocky about it. Like I wanted him to be more nervous.
Like there's a spot here for you.
He was. Yeah, like you can go on a glasses picking date with me if you want.
so in the pool scene, I wasn't getting this clinical vibe so much. Here, I definitely was getting it, and a lot of it had to do with the distance. A lot of it had to do with just the stilted nature of the whole interaction, and it just seemed to get like cold, clinical, calculated, not at all sincere or heartfelt.
So here's the thing, y'all. I think, and I'm not going to mince words here. I think in this episode, we were reminded that we were watching a TV show. That's my takeaway from this episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We were very much reminded that we were watching a TV show.
Yeah. I mean, don't get it wrong. I'm never under the veil of like, this is how these real people would really act in this situation. No. It's all contrived.
No.
But it definitely is just like, he's playing the Terrace House game and we're just watching people play the game. And that's the thing that I've always historically hated about shows like The Bachelor, because it's not real. I mean, no reality TV is real. But when the whole goal of the show is who's going to get the rose, you're going to do whatever it takes to get the rose, even if you do something that's not in your character. Right?
Yeah.
I guess,
even if you don't like the person also.
Yeah.
So I guess for me with reality TV is I've found on Terrace House and other shows I've seen in the past that yes, it is manufactured, but there are people that can come on that can be much more comfortable and be themselves and let go of their inhibitions. And Kenny holds his inhibitions so closely to his chest. and they're always top of mind for him. Some people can get over the fact that they're on a reality TV show and just be, and Kenny's never gotten to that phase. So that's what bothers me here, I think.
Yeah. And like, I think though, your point about being so far away is like the key here, because let's imagine, right? Because we don't know what happens in episode 13, but let's imagine this turns out well. Risiko's like, I like you too. And then they're like, well, now we kiss. But there's this Grand Canyon between us. Like, one of them is going to have to make such an awkward move to cross the canyon.
Oh, they're setting themselves. Dude, Kenny set himself
I
up
don't
for
want
fucking
it.
failure.
It's like Burns and Misaki, isn't it? Where he like ran over and like tried to kiss her, and she's like, no. But that was so much sweeter than this. This is garbage compared to that.
It was playful. This was gonna be
right, and it's not.
No, this is just gonna be uncomfortable.
And it's not like Kenny is unaware of what physical distance can do in a conversation. Because I remember very clearly, it was the episode. It was Girl Fight, right? The beginning of that episode, Haruka was crying because Risiko was like, "I revealed your secret," right? And she cries to Kenny, and when Kenny's trying to comfort her, although he does a horrible job with it, but when he tries, he asks her like, "Oh, come up here and sit next to me," because he knows at the very least like his message will get across better. In this case, he's just like, "Yeah, can you stay 5 feet away from me? Yeah, that's good. Okay, I have something to tell you."
Yeah, I like you. I know we're like 5 feet away right now or whatever. We're like forever away, but I like you.
Yo, I like you.
I like you.
All the way back.
It's just going to be like all the way in the back across the Grand Canyon. Hey, I like you. I like you too. Okay, see you next week.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the next episode of Terrace House.
Man, I don't know. Like that, it's a pretty lackluster end. Like I feel like it should be a cliffhanger, but I don't feel the tension. I don't feel the need.
No.
Yeah.
If anything, I just feel kind of. It's just I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. This just doesn't. This doesn't feel right.
It's just
to me
not
at
a
all.
good cliffhanger, man. I mean, this makes like Yudai like maybe leaving look like an awesome cliffhanger from the first part of part 1 in O&D. You know, it's just like I don't care anymore, and it's like that's the thing. We don't care about this relationship because it just doesn't. It just seems like it's gone cold. You know, long time ago, too little, too late. Risiko, I think, clearly doesn't care. Predictions? She's gonna say, because she said I don't know how to react. It's definitely going negative. And I think she's gonna say maybe at one time it could have been, but because of XYZ, I don't feel the same way.
I think
if she's going to be straight up right then and there, or she might just say, I need some time to think about it and then let him down a little more gently, maybe in a day or two. That's what I can see happening here in the next episode.
See, I think even best case scenario, if she does say yes, they do get together, I will never get it out of my head that that's a relationship that was forged only because of reality TV, not because two people found each other.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I will
the pressure to couple up too is a Terrace House thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's never felt so like forced before, I feel like.
Yeah, if they do get together, I would be hard pressed to believe that they're still together.
Based on what I see on Instagram on a daily basis, I don't think they're together at all.
Interesting.
I
guess, yeah.
But we will find out.
Yes,
find out.
Yes, you will.
Who knows? I've seen early predictions to be like December-ish when we get part 2 internationally. But I think it's a little too early to say.
Wasn't it like December 18th or December 20th or something like that last year when another part dropped?
Yeah, that's like based on some math, but it could always be different. We don't know. Well, and also the Tokui leaving might affect it too. You know, we don't.
And also Netflix does like put out, I don't know the date and time, but they'll put out, hey, this is what's coming to Netflix next month.
Yeah.
So we will see if Terrace House is going to be December. We will see that here. We
shortly.
Should know by now, I guess, if it's right before Thanksgiving. So
yeah. So we'll see. We'll find out. And we'll definitely keep you guys updated too when we know when part 2 drops, right? And
we have thoughts and opinions about all of Terrace House Tokyo 2019-2020 part 1. And we are going to spend the coming weeks and episodes talking about that stuff.
For sure. But I say that brings this episode to a close. This part, our episode by episode coverage of this part.
This Kenny shitfest.
Is this is this an anticlimactic ending to part 1?
Kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about it.
We will. But that brings us to a close. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you think we were too harsh on part 1 here today, if we think we were too harsh on Kenny today, let us know in the comments below or at our email, questions@terracehousepodcast.com.
Is there a Kenny Defense Force?
KDF. No,
I
that's
think
the
there
Cowrie
is.
Defense Force, though.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
We're the Cowrie Defense Force.
Yeah.
We'll come up with another one. But there's defense forces for everybody in this house.
Yes. You can catch us next Tuesday where, fun fact, pew, 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 we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. We've been doing this for almost a year. It's crazy.
Yo, happy birthday to us.
We're 1 year old. We can finally walk. We're saying our
Wow.
first goo goo gagas. I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we still can't talk, but
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really have no
Yeah.
On
idea
our
what
podcast.
baby
We're
development
working
is
on
like.
that. We're working on the talking.
But yeah, we're getting there. So we have a fun, exciting show in store for you. Don't miss it.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
Good
great.
times.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Come celebrate with us.
Yes. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu.
If you enjoy our show, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ding the bell to receive notifications when we publish new content. Follow us on social media and check out our brand new Discord server linked in the description below.